Hello, I'm Peter French, back with you to talk about management implemented. In a recent blog article, Why Be an Entrepreneur When You Can Be a Manager, which you can find at the link which is on the notes, we make the firm point that nothing happens until it is managed. You get what the manager measures, not what you pay for. So, in management implemented, the most important skill is to deliver systems or processes that deliver the management mantra of repeatability, quality, and quantity. So let's start with some planning. The management paradigm is, after all, PLOC, planning, leading, organization, and control. The first step is to set out a set of projects that fit your context. What is required in your business, and the two questions to ask of all projects that might be on your radar are: impact, those projects that we need to deliver to make immediate or low-hanging fruit outcomes, so let's say tactical outcomes, and those that are important, long-term stuff that will change and optimize our business in a long-term way, maybe 3 years. So we take your intuitive understanding of what is required and match that to the template of a system of delivery. Mix in an understanding of your organization's maturity and capability, that is, the ability to deliver on these projects, and then settle on a list of projects prioritized by impact and importance. If you need help here, look for a download link on the eCourse page that will provide a PDF form and instructions for this activity. Or, if you follow this link in the handout, you'll see the online form. PLOC, PLOC, and more PLOC. Well, the next is lead. Managers need to lead change as they use this template to deliver their intervention. Before you can orchestrate or conduct the team in the delivery of a system, you need to quantify, that is, you need to specify the details of the process under review. We have our project list, and based on a system of delivery template, and we also that are influenced by your goals. And now we have to choose a number of projects to deliver. Now, based on a very basic project management template, we do what is required to deliver on time, within budget, and hitting design outcome targets. This could be seen as the golden bullet of management, a guaranteed method of delivery. After all, this is what business development is all about, delivering change. It's called the 5-7 method by us. Not greater than 5 milestones and not greater than 7 tasks to deliver each milestone. But before we get into the act of delivery, let's discuss the preparation of the project. The 5-7 golden bullet is to create a project with no more than 5 milestones on the path from the beginning to the end, and each milestone is delivered by not more than 7 tasks. This single aspect is designed to overcome two of the most important failure factors. Large projects, with sometimes hundreds of milestones, either never finish as we lose control of them, or never start as they are too intimidating. And funnily enough, they sometimes get a life of their own and go on forever. Small projects are so trivial that management tend to lose sight of them, don't demand outcomes, and are often delegated and forgotten. So there's no accountability and no rhythmic review. A project definition workshop, or whatever you want to call it, is called by the project initiator, that's the executive, or the leader, or the entrepreneur, and they have 2 tasks: to define the target using a smart project definition, and allocate a project owner. The project owner, who is in charge of bringing home this completed project through regular rhythmic reviews of the owner by the initiator, drives delivery of milestones on time and on budget. The owner, with the project team, define these milestones and in return rhythmically review the tasks used to deliver so that each milestone's progress can be reported to the initiator. Finally, the project owner presents the completed project to the initiator, who verifies that the defined target is delivered and signs it off. A project properly constituted needs a review tool, and this can be downloaded as a PDF or in Excel format in the implementation page. Sometimes we need some time together to get this right, but the basics are quite easy. A critical success factor is defining what the project is and is not. We like this method, but follow anything that defines the project with any degree of misunderstanding. I meant to say, without any degree. Specific. Not a generalization, but as close to having no chance of being misinterpreted as possible. Sometimes called the terms of reference. Measurable. That the outcome can be measured, so there's no doubt that we have achieved the outcome that was intended. Achievable. It's in that the work to be done can be achieved. Big, hairy, audacious targets are fine, but can just as easily be a turn-off. Targets must be a stretch, but should also be gettable. Relevant to or relative to a problem we are addressing and the benefits of that problem being delivered for the enterprise and for the whole working population. Initiating the project is an upcoming discussion. Lastly, timing. The timing of a project is sacrosanct, as it may affect others in the critical path. Timing is a bottom-up and a top-down process of give and take, but at some stage everybody has to agree to the peg in the ground and deliver. In Africa, we have a strong culture of naming our children to represent an occasion in the family, a prayer answered, or any other motivation that uses this strong tradition. It is also a Judeo-Christian and Islamic feature, where naming tends to almost predict the character and behavior of the child. We believe that naming, like this project's name, Eagle, brings to mind soaring flight as this project seeks to increase turnover by 5%. Or something like Phoenix could be a project to rebuild something out of the ashes of defeat. Ignore the name and the smart definition at your peril. Don't see them as cosmetic features. Exercise them, and they will start to be taken up in the language of your extended tribe, and build project prestige, engagement, and anticipation among your people as they strive for relevant and positive change. You don't have to be anything like a PhD to draw a flow diagram. A flow diagram in system design is to start with a simple diagram such as this one, with blocks that describe the start and the end of an arrow. These arrows take different paths sometimes depending on a decision, and they merge when the outcomes come together to start a new task. We found that this can be quite fun. The initiator has a flow diagram in mind, but allows the selected project team to build one as the initiator influences it from their position of expected outcomes and content. Don't be afraid to build something silly like this: brushing your teeth, getting ready for work, a flow chart. And when you get the hang of it, build your first one to describe your project, your system, or your process. It's very easy to just concentrate on the task at hand. After all, that is why we are trying to describe the activity of producing an outcome, the task, the work that has to be done to accomplish it. But tasks are initiated by something. A suspect entering our sales process as an example. An order starts our delivery process as another example. Most tasks are started by a document or something that can be documented, some form of specification or information that demands our activity or initiates the task to be performed. So the task is initiated, and for the most part, here the initiating documentation can be added to or modified by and documented within the task itself. This is an important part of the task. Processes are not all about activity, but also about sticking to our standard operating procedure, the SOP, and these documents form the governance of our task, containing the evidence of what we have performed. Resources are things the person delivering the task will require, such as a PC to look up prices, a telephone to answer the call, or a driving license to deliver the goods, for example. These must be known and provided. Very often we see entrepreneurs start a process and either not have the resources or running out of them, and then being frustrated that the process breaks down. They could also be represented by intangible things like training, tangible things like scripts to follow, even a pencil to fill the slip, to produce the pink message slip documented within the task. To our mind, the most important and also the most neglected definition of what has to be accomplished in a process step is the expectation. This is a documented, trained, and monitored way we do it and the feeling we produce that is produced in this task. It is what the leader or the owner, the entrepreneur's expectation of what must be perceived by our customers of the task. What is expected by them, but also expected by both internal and external customers or consumers of the task. This is the single most important reason why entrepreneurs feel they don't have good people, or customers feel that they didn't get proper attention, which results in customer dissatisfaction. It's because we haven't taken the trouble to define, teach, practice, and deliver the expectations or experience demanded by our brand promise. So the things we design into our process are expectations that deliver my internal and external customer satisfaction, a task and resources trained and optimized so that the delivery is accomplished by a person that produces exactly what is defined in the task, no more, no less, within a standard time. Unless we have this, we cannot innovate, improve, or measure. And the documents that initiate what are developed within the task, that together with all the tasks in the process, form the paper trail, the governance of our process. Project delivery is the process, the preserve of the management discipline. But if you don't have managers, or they don't do their job, then as the business leader and entrepreneur, you need to manage this activity by regular, diarized, no-nonsense reviews. Get a rhythm going of delivery. Communicate to everybody when you start and as you progress. And finally, lastly, create the new future state that you define in your vision based on your brand commitment. We are here and we can help, and you can engage in a number of ways that fit your context.